I got just 5 questions quick. I call us like the speed cast. So we
Yeah.
just do like 5 quick questions. So, favorite game that you've called for?
Impossible to
Pinpoint.
bring it down to one. I mean,
Okay.
fifth game in baseball I ever did, a no-hitter.
Right.
Pretty hard to match that. That held up in both sports for a long time as, the most important game, I suppose. I've had a lot of great Bucks games, obviously. We don't work the we don't work the playoffs after the first round, so I didn't get in on the finals. Um, but just great game-ending situations. Called Michael Redd's 57 points, Brandon Jennings' 55-point game. Giannis now, of course, with 64.
Nuts.
And so those are good, but just so many.
Yeah. And then you had the game that Giannis was wearing the thing after the championship too, with you on it.
Yeah, after 35 years, I got COVID after game 3, so I wasn't at game 4 or 5 or 6. And sitting in right here and watching. And I always tell people, they say, that's too bad you couldn't be there. I said, yeah, but, it is. But some things happened personally for me that wouldn't have happened had I been at the game. My son was in Austin, Texas. And at the precise moment, I knew the Bucks were going to win the championship. I knew in game 5 when they had the value.
Yeah, that was so sweet.
I said they're going to win now because they just took all the steam out of it. Mm-hmm. But in game 6, the Bucks were up 8. Phoenix cut it to 4 late in the game, and Middleton came right out and hit a shot right away to get it back to 6. And I knew right then it was over. And my phone rang at that precise moment, and it was my son. And it was hard for me. He recognized that they were going to win too. So and he grew up with this, and he when they won it, he said, "This is so great." He said, "Now I don't have to pay this much attention to it ever again," because it was so hard on him.
Yeah.
I mean, he took it so personally, and he said, "I don't have to have this be this intense ever again." Mm-hmm. And then we hung up, and then I'm sitting here by myself, and Giannis comes out to the podium and says, "Excuse me just a minute," and he puts on a T-shirt. And it was very emotional for me. And then my phone rang again, and it was my son's neighbor, and he said, "He's bawling in my kitchen, but he can't talk to you, but what a great moment."
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Think about it. People think it's about me. That isn't about me. That's about Giannis. At the pinnacle of his professional career, he thought of other people.
Mm-hmm.
You remember coaches that weren't there because they had COVID. He thought of me, put the T-shirt on. I got a call from somebody right at the top of the NBA, not the commissioner, but not too far down. And they said, "Jim, what's going on? We've never seen anything like this." So
Yeah.
I said, "Well, you're watching." I said, "You have a pretty great athlete in your league, and you have a better person."
Mm-hmm.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I want people to remember that defines Giannis more than anything else.
The character.
Yeah. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
With all that going on, and he just accomplished something that he dreamed about since he was a little kid, and he thinks of me.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's very cool for you.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing.
That was actually my next question I just saw here. What was your reaction to him wearing that shirt?
Yeah.
I didn't even think of bringing it up, but now I see that.
The shirt was, it came out in May when I announced my retirement. And so, the shirts were around, guys had worn them a little bit. But when my question was, where did he get the shirt? And it turns out that Dan Smichek, the PR director for the basketball side, was there, and he was getting Giannis ready to go to the podium, and Giannis said, I forget how it worked. "Oh, Giannis, is Jim here?" And Dan said no. And then Dan had a quarter zip on it, and he showed him, he had the T-shirt on underneath. And Giannis said, take that off. So he took the shirt off Dan's sweet check and took it to the podium and put it on.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane.
I know.
Yeah, that's crazy. He didn't even think of it, right?
Unbelievable. He said, let me have that.
Huh.
So he took Dan's shirt under his quarter zip, and that was the shirt that he put on. Amazing.
Yeah.
Just amazing. And crazy. Just crazy. So that was, I was in total shock and awe right there.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Who's like the holy grail person that you met? We already kind of talked about that, but one person.
Oh, I don't know if I laid that on.
Can't peg one person.
If I laid that on somebody, the holy grail on someone, then I would be taking away from someone else.
Yeah.
I don't rank people that way.
Okay.
They all are kind of their own holy grail in a way. How do you differentiate between Muhammad Ali, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? You can't.
Mm-hmm.
I've been privileged to meet, visit with, talk to, and in some cases become friendly with some pretty amazing people. And I consider that to be one of the great blessings of my life.
Yeah.
I've learned from all of them, and it's very humbling. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
When you can sit down and talk to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar privately and talk about all kinds of things, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it'd be really hard for me to say one was more so than another.
Yeah, I like that because you're not putting one person on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Everybody's...
the person that I put on the pedestal probably would say, what are you doing? There are other people. Yeah, there are.
Mm-hmm.
So I respect them all by respecting them individually.
Okay. I love it. Last question.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for young people who are trying to find their passion?
Wow.
Heavy hitter.
First of all, I hope they do. I think one of the most important things is to be open and aware of the possibility of a passion.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes back to taking the time to think and reflect and consider things that happen to you and how they affect you. I mean, you might recognize a passion when you think about it. Listen to your inner voice. Feel what motivates you. Feel what excites you. Think about what excites you. And then think about how you can turn that into a career and a life.
Mm-hmm.
Very often, I think it just happens and you're stimulated by something and you just go for it. You don't even think about it. That's fine. And it can turn into a passion.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody who develops or finds a passion is going to be way ahead. It takes the feel of work out of it. You're working. People say in our business, they say, "Oh, it beats working." I go, "Well, maybe you haven't done it right then," because I said I work real hard. I said I didn't lift things and I didn't sweat. Mm-hmm. And I said I'd like to think that I work hard in preparing. And I said I would never say we didn't work for a living.
Totally.
I said, it's not the kind of work that, a lot of people have to do, granted. But I said, I never dismissed work as a product of what I did. It was kind of the basis of what I did, right?
Right.
Work can be measured in time spent. Work can be measured in intellectual energy. Work can be measured in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing what we did and what guys and ladies do at the level of the NBA or baseball or whatever, to me, they're very hard workers. They have to be working hard to know that much and to be able to recall it.
Oh, totally.
That quickly.
Yeah.
So depends on your definition of work, I guess. But in terms of the passion, you just have to be aware of yourself and be aware of what you can't. You have to kind of take the limits away too. You have to understand that you shouldn't have limits. Be open to trying something totally unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. Passions. I didn't know I had a passion for what I did until I was exposed to it.
Right.
You know, and it was just, how cool is it to be sitting above a crowd of 80,000 people describing a sporting event and the spectacle of that.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool. It was energizing. It was, you know, adrenaline filled. It was all that stuff. And challenging to do it well and to do it, you know, better than most.
Mm-hmm.
So I think passions are often disguised as challenges. So you can look at your challenges and see if there's a passion.
Huh. Interesting. Well, awesome podcast. Thanks for chatting with me.
My pleasure. It was wonderful.
We'll keep it chatting once I turn the cameras off and stuff, because this is so fun.
Thank you, Audrey. It was my pleasure.